Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, and this time reviewing on what if Captain America led an army of super soldiers in World War II. Now, as you know, in Captain America's origin, he was meant to be the first and so far only super soldier, and was basically meant to have been what could have been an army of super soldiers. So in this reality, we have Captain America leading an army of super soldiers, and let's get on the story. It starts off in a late night talk show where basically Captain America is talking with a night show host, and he says, "Well, Ted, what can I tell you? Is this..." And so he points out about his origin, how he was a skinny guy and weak and feral, but after reading and hearing about the World War II stories, he became Captain America by a scientist. And the assassin's like, "Down with anarchy, down with freedom, we shall live to oppose the Führer Frederick." And so he ends up shooting the scientist, Dr. Erskine, and we're shown by the Watcher a different reality, where he's basically the president in that. And pretty much in this reality, he became Captain America, saved Dr. Erskine, and basically managed to stop the assassination attempt. And he's been seen as a hero by people. So pretty much in Captain America, by the Watcher, he points out some differences in the reality, like, for example, Bucky no longer being irreverent, saying, "You can't mean it, Cap. We're a team. I'm sorry, lad, but Steve Rogers has to report to some harsh project out west." And so we're introduced to a recruitment center where we see a whole army of super soldiers, and basically Steve Rogers is left impressed. People like Nick Fury, Dum Dugan and that are now super soldiers, and pretty much they go on their first mission, where it's basically to take down Hitler's fortress and that. And basically it feels a bit like a G.I. Joe battlefield. And Captain America and that basically take on the forces, only a few casualties, and Red Skull's like, "Die! You stand splendid! You've only to begun, only to perish at the hands of the Red Skull." And so he ends up getting shot. So Captain America says, "He's dead. You shot him. There's no time for war, kids' gloves. This is war, Steve." "Yes, it is. And we're here to end it." And so they break through shooting down Hitler and everyone else. And pretty much we have Nick Fury confronting Hitler, but Steve Rogers says, he needs to stand trial, we need to stop this. And so we see some of the old school superheroes hearing about these reports, and we're shown afterwards where Captain America enters Auschwitz and even meets a young Magnus saying, "You've come to free us? You speak English. What's your name?" "Magnus." And so, later, at a cruise ship, Captain America is just left wondering, saying, "You go in ahead. I'm not up for it tonight. I hope and pray we all did." And so a big explosion happens, and turns out Captain America's the only survivor. And after this, he pretty much reveals his identity, and basically new super soldiers are being produced. Dr. Erskine basically helps in that, and even Captain America becomes president. But something seems amiss. We see Captain America shooting his own soldiers when they basically display hostile behavior, and given the fact most of them are all blonde-haired with blue eyes, there is a hint that something's not right. Like, for example, when Martin Luther King and that show up to stop racism and that, they get the crap beating out of them, and even people being put in camps, and everything else. And eventually stop people like the Fantastic Four from getting their powers, Dr. Banner. And much like in the comics, Spider-Man gets his powers, but only for his Aunt May and Uncle Ben to get shot. And basically they're like, now there's not one less human freak to threaten America. Glad we took out the family as a bonus. This kind breed like rats. You don't enjoy this, don't you? We have orders to hunt down and kill the superhumans, not innocent civilians. And so yeah, it's Frank Castle, and basically voices and even shows disapproval of this. So much like reality, everything's happy-go-lucky in that. So we see Namor looking around, and even managing to regain his memories, and even confronts the super soldiers in the Antarctic. And he's like, I am the mighty living mortal on Earth. The so-called perfect human fighting machine is there no one on the planet to even challenge me? And you can tell Frank Castle's like, he's stronger than me, but I'll find a way to outmaneuver him. And so he goes into an old ocean liner that was where Steve Rogers was, and even starts wondering, on the ice ahead, a village I see of accused humans. And so the Eskimos start praying to him, but tells them to be gone, and you've got Steve Rogers frozen in ice, and yeah, it's obviously shown that this is the real Steve Rogers, and the one we've seen is an imposter. And pretty much there is a continuation to the story, and yeah, I still need to pick that one up. So the story is actually pretty good. It's like an interesting what if, and it's kind of shown that maybe Steve Rogers being the only super soldier at the time was probably for the best, and due to things like this would have happened. So it deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.